Hello and welcome to today's recording of Assassin's Creed Rogue. Today we're going to do sequence 3 and it is day 60 of our march to Assassin's Creed Odyssey. At the end of our last sequence we saw some very interesting developments for Shay. He is having issues with his assassin friends. I doubt you can call them friends now. But we're going to talk a little bit about where we end up, and we talked with Benjamin Franklin yesterday, so we're going to talk a little bit more about him. I believe we might even see a little bit of him. We do have more lore to talk about, but we might not get to that today, as I want to also talk a little bit about some of the video, some of the footage and things that I heard that come out of Gamescom this last week. So let's sit back, watch a cutscene, and play some Assassin's Creed Rogue.
Good to see you're feeling better.
Thank you. Mr. Finnegan, was it?
Sweet Mother Mary. Have we taken in the village idiot?
Barry! Remember, Shay, I'm Cassidy, and this is...
Barry!
You've been ill for weeks.
I hate to have been a burden.
See? He's a civilized fella.
Aye, for a clumsy deckhand. Probably fell off his ship half drunk.
Barry!
He's right.
What do y'all want?
What's going on?
Looks like you need some of Ezio's medicine.
How dare you?
Shut up, woman.
Oh!
Leave her alone. Ah!
Can you imagine having candles on your home instead of electricity?
Now what are you going on about?
Stay out of this, you fool!
Well, I was going to, but... Now you've made things personal.
Prepare for a thrashing! And don't come back! Thank you, Shay. In my younger days, I could have taken them one-handed.
Why were these men bothering you?
Ah, the usual. They feel they're owed money because they're not harming citizens. Mark me words, those gangs are going to be the downfall of this city.
Wait here, I have something for you.
Shay needs a haircut.
Won't do you any good walking around Starkers. Here, try these on. They were our sons.
I suppose, if you're looking for trouble, you'll be needing these.
Thank you.
Don't you look a right gentleman?
Gas.
Did I have a book with me?
Just those peculiar weapons.
Thank you both. If you'll excuse me. The manuscript is at the bottom of the Atlantic.
I don't remember that scar over his eye, though. So let's take a moment to talk about Benjamin Franklin, who we met in the last sequence. He was born January 17th, 1706. Was an American polymath and considered one of the founding fathers of the United States. He was a leading author, printer, political theorist, politician, Freemason, postmaster. He was a scientist, inventor. He was even a humorist. He was a civic activist, a statesman, and a diplomat. That man did just a little bit of everything.
You'll regret
Am I
this,
supposed to attack him or
and
capture
so will
him?
the Finnegans!
There we go.
What have you and your friends got against the Finnegans?
I got no gripe. My boss sent me over.
Ah, and where's he set up?
You can't miss it. There's always black smoke rising from the courtyard of that building.
His mouth has never moved, didn't move like maybe once or twice. So, as a scientist, Franklin was a major figure in American Enlightenment and the history of physics because of his discoveries and theories with electricity. He is known for inventing lightning rod, bifocals, and the Franklin stove. For the life of me, don't ask me what exactly a Franklin stove is, because I don't quite know.
We'll give you a lesson.
He would help found Philadelphia's fire department and the University of Pennsylvania, where he would be, where he'd also serve as the first president when it was known as the Academy and College of Philadelphia. He'd campaign early and often for colonial unity, first as an author and then as a spokesman in London. He was the first ambassador to France when from the United States. He was the first ambassador of France from the United States. I saw the gang leader, Jew.
You shall perish! We'll give you a lesson. We own this town,
up, man.
boy.
We're gonna ditch his body in the. Two. That's not what I want. Where's the big axe? I want to see if I can throw it at somebody.
Hold there!
Nope, can't throw it. Ooh! Yeah, that was a bit brutal. Assassin symbol with a flame in it, huh? So with Franklin being the first ambassador of the United States to France, he was also a successful newspaper editor and printer by the age of 23. This is where he would become wealthy by publishing the Pennsylvania Gazette and the Poor Richard's Almanac. During his time in London, he'd spearhead the effort to have the Stamp Act repealed, which itself would make him a national hero.
That will help us smoke.
Be at ease, Master Cormac. We are friends. The Finnegans were worried you might take matters into your own hands. I am Colonel George Monroe.
Colonel?
I came to help, but I see I am late. Thank you for dealing with these foul criminals. They were a blight on New York.
What do you care? You redcoats are nothing but landlords. The townsfolk here are grinding away, trying to make a living.
I cannot blame you for having that impression. Some of my comrades have been less than helpful. But I take a different approach.
And what is that?
I care. I want to see these colonists safe and prosperous.
Noble words.
Perhaps actions will convince you otherwise, Master Cormac. Here. Reclaim what they have stolen. Now let us use some of that money for the good of the city. I realize you have no reason to trust me, Master Cormac.
You said you were a friend of the Finnegans.
I am. Their late son worked for me. You are much like him.
How so?
He cared, and he wanted to do good by the people. We shared a dream, he and I, that of making the world a better place. Mere survival is not enough. Full bellies, warm clothing. Freedom from want is the greatest freedom of all.
It almost sounds like you have goodwill towards the people you govern.
I do not govern, Master Cormac. I merely assist.
Sign up for the largest navy ever established and defend Britain.
See this neglected edifice, Master Cormac? We can make it better. Urban renewal is a new science, but one that has already proven effective on the continent. I've arranged for resources. Use them to improve that building.
What fine work!
The neighborhood will be much better now.
I suspect New York will prosper under your watch, Master Cormac. You can do great things for this city and its citizens. After all, a man needs purpose. Farewell for now, Master Cormac.
So then, after he returned, by 1753, he was the
Colonel strikes me
postmaster.
as an honorable man. Someone who wants to
That-
do what's right.
Too far ahead of myself.
And he may have a point. With everything that has happened. With what I've done. I can't change the past.
Let's see
But
if I can
maybe
get
there's a
Shanty.
future for me here. And maybe, just maybe,
Come on,
I can
come
do
on.
what's
There
right
we go.
this time.
All right. So in
Get back to the
1753,
Finnegans.
he would
Let them know
be
I'm fine.
deputy postmaster general for the colonies, after working as Philadelphia's postmaster. Both of these would allow him to set up the first national communications network, and he was the first postmaster during the Revolution. That didn't hurt as bad as I thought it was going to. He would also serve as the governor of Pennsylvania between 1785 and 1788, and on April 17th, 1790, he would die from a what was called a pleuritic attack at the age of 84, where he would leave a legacy of scientific and political achievement and the status of one of America's most influential founding fathers. To this day, he is still honored with appearances on coin and paper money, having towns, counties, and educational institutions named after him, corporations, and warships as well. He was a very revered man, I guess would be the right word.
Shay, Colonel Monroe told us what happened.
You, sir, are a fool. But thanks.
Master Cormac, I am sorry to bother you when you were barely out of your sick bed.
No, I've had enough of being cooped up.
Then perhaps you could get a friend of mine out of trouble. He discovered a nest of criminals developing strange weapons. Look at these. Bullets as loud and bright as firecrackers. If we might have a moment alone. His name is Christopher Gist. And he might be in over his head. I fear these brutes will hang him like a dog.
I will not let those outlaws have another victim.
Good. The villains are entrenched at Old Fort Arsenal. I have urgent business in Albany. Please tell Master Gist to join me there.
Did you hear, dearie? They are hanging a man in the old fort.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the city that we are in. Oh, this is time. Oh boy. I guess we're gonna wait until we save Christopher Gist. I got an itch, like right there. There we go. Alright. I don't know if I can... Swimming is not allowed. I'll get this done.
I'll give you a hand. He's in my place. Ah, shit. Your mother will mourn. I'll catch up with you one way or another. Mark my word.
This bastard nicked what we rightfully stole. Let's say we give him a stretch.
Let him hide. Go to hell, the lot of you.
These ruffians are part of the same gang who made trouble to the Hennigan's.
One barrel. See if I can find another one. Oh, nope, 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 nope.
Bastard nicked what we rightfully stole.
Christopher Guest! I'm Shay
Where's the
Cormac.
third?
But what are you doing here? Don't mind me asking.
Nowhere
Colonel
near it.
sent me.
Aha!
Where's the third one? There you are. There. Now I will save Christopher Gist. How did he get under there? Oh, alright. So let's talk about New York City, which is officially named the City of New York. Now it is typically called New York City, or just simplified as NYC. It is currently the most populous city in the United States, and has been described as the cultural, financial, and media capital of the world.
Good show, Shay. Ran them right out of their own den.
Well, I was looking for a new place to live.
Well, don't put your name on the door yet. There may be a few men left on their ship. Look, the bird is nested right over there.
The Morrigan. What is she doing there? That's my ship, friend. Begging your pardon, but I must go fetch her back from those louts.
Oh, wait! I can hardly let you do that alone.
Help me if you can, then.
Keep your wits about you, Shay. Criminals are everywhere.
Experts
And most of them look just
also,
like law-abiding citizens.
And they've been harassing the people who've
I'm
nursed me
sorry,
back to
not
health.
experts.
Sounds like good folks.
New
They
York
are.
City
Perhaps you know them.
also
Barry and Cassidy Finnegan.
exerts
I've never met them, but I knew their son.
significant impact on commerce, entertainment, research, technology, education, politics, tourism, even sports. Situated on one of the world's largest
Careful now.
natural
These
harbors.
ruffians can be anywhere. You can draw them out by making noise.
Oh, I've got something better than that.
Well, you seem to be more than capable of taking care of this matter. I'll tell you what. I shall find a new crew for your vessel, in case you have to leave post-haste.
So if you notice, this actually plays a lot like the Assassin's Creed multiplayer, with the sound effects and the eagle vision for figuring out where people are.
I like it closer.
Oh, you didn't die. Sorry, that was just too funny for me.
I can hit him from here. Fleeing is futile. You're on our territory, Burke.
What are we about next? He's got a long rifle, that's why he was able to hit me. Alright, we're still. I didn't kill him? I missed those one-shot kills.
Slipping away. Find him again.
So the city currently consists of 5 boroughs, each with a separate county within the state of New York. The area was originally settled by the Lenape people, and not even viewed upon by a European until the Italian Giovanni da Verrazzano did while he was in the command of the French ship La Dauphine, which was in the year 1524. Alright, let's see if I can find this guy that's... This guy here.
You have no business.
That was horrible. It's supposed to be out there. So Verrazano would actually call this area. Am I on the right post? I am on the right post. Where would he call this? Oh, he'd call this area Novella Agalume in honor of Francis I, who was the King of France at the time, and he was from the royal house of Valois-Angoulême. Henry Hudson, who is, I guess I wouldn't say more famous, but he's more well known. I guess that would make him more famous, wouldn't it? And that's death. He would arrive in the area on September 2nd, 1609, while looking for the western passage to Asia. While in the employ of the Dutch East India Company, though his report on the local beaver population would lead directly to the founding of a Dutch fur trading post at the southern tip of Manhattan, somewhere between 1624 and 1625. And I have to start all over again. Head up and then we'll go over to the side. Around 1626, the construction of Fort Amsterdam would begin. The colony was granted self-government in 1652 from the Netherlands, and New Amsterdam was incorporated as a city on February 2nd, 1653. In 1664, the English would conquer the area and rename it New York after the Duke of York. This would end a 40-year period of Dutch rule and start a 120-year of English administration. Let's see, where's the... Can I just jump into the water? Nope, nope, nope. Up. This is either going to be death or we're going to be in the water. We're in the water! Cool. In 1763, the Dutch would actually hold the area for about a year, calling the city New Orange and the colony in general New Netherland. They would give it up to the English for what is now the Suriname in November of 1674. Is he standing in the on the water? Oh, there's a steps there. Didn't see the steps. In 1754, King's College would be founded in Lower Manhattan under the charter of King George II. King's College is actually now Columbia University. During the American Revolution, the British would occupy the city from from the beginning of the Battle of Long Island and Fort Washington in late 1776 to the end of the war when the last British forces left the city on November 25th, 1783. What's the next? Is he in there? You're in the thing. I want you to go up.
I got you.
Alright, I'll take that, I guess.
Come back here right this second. Nothing.
I'm not gonna worry about that gunner unless he annoys me.
Sight of him.
There's a possibility. Under the Articles of Confederation, New York City would be the seat of Congress, starting in 1785, and in 1789, it'd become the first national capital under the United States Constitution, which would it would keep this role until it was transferred to Philadelphia in 1790. The city would expand to encompass all of Manhattan in 1825. Who's the next person? I thought it was a roof stock. Oh no, this is the one on this. Hi, fellas. By 1835, New York would pass Philadelphia as the country's largest city. There's another one here. There's one.
Now you see me?
Oops. Oopsie. And actually, within the 1840s and 50s, it would respond to the growing demands of residents with the establishment of the New York Police Department and its public school system. Alright, so somewhere over there. So he's in that railing, I would bet money, but that's out of range. There we go.
She's a fine ship. And true to my word, I found a crew for her. I did leave one position unfilled, though. Tell me, Shay, do you have a first mate?
He's long gone.
Then I apply for the post, Captain.
Welcome aboard.
As your first mate, may I suggest our next destination? The Colonel will be expecting me to report back.
My thoughts exactly. Colonel Monroe said he'd be in Albany.
Splendid!
Actually, now that I think about it, I am not sure what the end of this sequence is called. Give me a second. Let me do a quick check. Okay, so we either got one mission or two left. I'm not exactly sure how many, but I know the name of the mission at least, so we're going to be all good there. Hopefully we can finish talking about New York by then. If we have to push the talk about Gamescom till the next sequence and tomorrow, I guess it's kind of where we're going to be sitting at. But we should have plenty of time within this game to talk about it. I'd hate to have to push that to the next game. Alright, so let's pop over to the ship, get out of here, and talk a little bit about... Finish talking about New York. We're barely in the mid-18th century here. Let's go right to the river valley. Let's see, where are we? 40s, 80s, and 50s. Police department. Construction of the city's most famous Central Park would actually start in 1857. And during the American Civil War, the city would break out in draft riots after Congress passed a law drafting men to fight in the war.
I wonder what he has in mind for us to do next.
After that war,
I thought you just wanted to
immigration would grow, and New York would become the first stop for millions seeking new and better lives.
What kind of ideals?
Secure borders, prosperous farms, fair trade. We need those in these wretched colonies.
Sounds like a high-minded utopia.
It rather does. Want to help make it happen?
Colonel Monroe is an intriguing man, and he certainly seems honorable. We'll head for Albany. After that, I'll see.
Full sail ahead, lads!
So, the French would end up acknowledging this with a gift and dedication of the Statue of Liberty in 1886. In 1898, the modern city of New York was formed with the consolidation of Brooklyn, Manhattan, and other outlying areas. The independent city, at this point, Brooklyn was an independent city. So that would become the borough of Brooklyn. It would join Manhattan by the recently built Brooklyn Bridge. Manhattan would be separated into Manhattan and the Bronx. Queens would be created from western Queens County, with the rest forming Nassau County in 1899. And the borough of Richmond would contain all of Richmond County. And in 1914, the New York State Legislature would create the Bronx County, bringing New York City to what is its current formation. Let's see what Monroe has got to say here. Circumstances. So there's 2 more missions left. This one and another one. But let's see what's going on with Colonel Monroe.
In good health, I see.
Thanks to the captain here.
Tis a fine vessel, Captain Cormac.
Thank you, Colonel Monroe.
Master Gist, did you learn more about our conspirators and their new weapons?
Well, only that their base of operations is a French fort further downriver.
It's a little close for comfort, isn't it?
If the French have installed a fort in our territory, they are likely preparing an assault. New York could burn. Will you join us, Master Cormac?
Aye. Enough innocents have died already.
Might I suggest we improve our vessel? The Morrigan is good, but with a few more supplies, she could be unstoppable. And there's a French outpost nearby I happen to know.
I like the sound of that.
Oh, I have to sail to the outpost. Then why did I get off the boat? Jeez. So this will bring us up to the 20th century. And this is where the city would be a center for industry, commerce, and communication. During the Prohibition era of the 1920s,
just occupying the territory?
Harlem Renaissance would flourish. In 1925,
They intend to undermine local authorities.
They're too closer!
After they steal from civilians and resell essential goods for 10 times the price.
It's always the little fella who gets skinned. Colonel, you and Gist here seem inspired. Is there something in the water? Or in the whiskey.
Now, why do you say that, Master Cormac?
I think Shay here is skeptical about our intentions towards our fellow man.
I understand, but there is no need. I simply want these colonies to be a place of safety, development, and purpose.
Funny. I thought rich men wanted them to be a place of profit.
I am not a rich man, Master Cormac. Money is a means to an end, not an end in and of itself.
Says you. I think it's a fine end to a game of cards.
Flotsam, sir. Could be
Fire! Fire!
So in 1925, the city would overtake London as the most populous city in the world. During the Great Depression of the 1930s, New York would start building some of the world's tallest skyscrapers. In 1951, the United Nations would relocate from Flushing Meadows Park in Queens to Manhattan's East Side. And then we hit the 80s, and there it would begin a rebirth of Wall Street, and the city would reclaim its role as the center of worldwide financial industry. While unemployment and crime would remain high from the 70s, it wouldn't be until the neighborhood restoration projects funded by the city in the 1990s that those two numbers would start to decline.
Let the anchor go!
I'm in the docking area, aren't I? There we go. That's weird.
Drop anchor!
And then came the unfortunate attacks of September 11th in 2001, which would kill 2,606 in what is the world's deadliest terror attack. And on November 3rd, 2014, One World Trade Center would open on the site of the attack. And then finally, on October 29th, 2012, the second costliest hurricane at the time, hurricane, I believe it was Sandy, would cost $70 billion in damages. I've never been to New York, so I can't begin to tell you from personal experience the kind of city that it is, but I hear great things about it. So it's something, a place that I'd like to visit one day. So for the rest of the stream, when there isn't a cutscene or somebody talking who I've probably overtalked anyway, we are going to talk about what I've seen at Gamescom and what I expect out of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Wanna get there in time?
Charles, tu remplaces Terrien jusqu'à ce qu'il se remette de sa blessure. Félicien, j'ai une mission spéciale pour vous. Suivez-moi.
So I watched a good number of people play the Medusa attack, and it seems that the way that that's going to be done from a lore perspective is going to be... Come on!
You're holding the thing I need
Oh,
most right
I guess he doesn't hang them the way I expected. That was weird. So essentially, from what I gather, things like Medusa is, of course, which we would expect. Whoa! That guy's got a cannon for an arm. Would come from pieces of Eden. Essentially, like Medusa someone would go off into a cave or woods and be corrupted by a piece of Eden, and then turn into Medusa from the visage, and then the ability to turn people into stone. But since you hold a piece of Eden yourself with the spear, it doesn't turn you into stone. It just slows your movement, which probably isn't a bad thing. It's just something that I wouldn't have anticipated.
Donc, je suis enrôlé pour une autre année.
Vraiment?
That didn't go well.
C'était quoi ça?
So, I like the idea of how they're working Greek mythology into Assassin's Creed lore. It's like they've done with, like they did with Origins lore with the Egyptian gods, and then with like Minerva and Juno and Tinia. So I'm very happy with that. The other things that I saw included the main story being with the main story being mostly, I wouldn't say historic in itself, but more based on historical the historical setting and what really could have happened, and
Good show, Shay.
then the side
Now let's
missions,
use
once
those
you get
materials to give the
farther
Morrigan
away
more
from the main
firepower.
story, gets
We
into
will
that
need more
fantastical, more into the lore, to kind of bring people like me who is major into the lore back and putting hundreds of hours into it. Cannons and round shot. Actually, no, I want mortar, because that's what's gonna do it for me. Is that mortal? That's all I got. Is there anything good in the? No, no, no. Jackdaw sails? I don't like the jackdaw sails. I like the Aquila sails, but I prefer the wolf sails for what I have. Can't buy anything. Mediterranean Fleet Mission. Okay. Some of these are important, some of them are not, I guess. So yeah, it seems like from a lore standpoint it's going to be interesting. Now I've seen a lot of people complain about the idea of this branching narrative that they've constructed and giving you all these options.
Splendid! That fort and the defenders will tremble before the Morrigan.
Captain has the helm!
But
Your ship is in fine form, Master Cormac. That fort should offer little
from what
resistance.
I've been...
I rather hope the frogs offer some, else this will be a dull
wait till
day.
they're done talking, I guess.
Never wish for battle, Master Gist. There's plenty around here for any of our lifetimes.
Besides, if we find the fort's commander, the French will surrender, no?
Indeed, that is a sensible strategy. But we will have to wear down the fort's defenses first. Otherwise, they will just dig in like a wounded bear.
So,
That's quite a win, Captain!
from the way I understand it, this branching narrative, it has the ability to fit into the lore. And we're going to get into it a little bit more. I might wait until Odyssey comes out to talk about it, because that's kind of what I've been doing. You see lore introduced in one game, and I wait until the next game to talk about it. But I believe it's called the Empirical Truth. It's either the Empirical Truth or the Imperial Truth. Not sure which one it's called. But it alludes to the idea that Layla's animus, which we'll, of course we'll talk more about when we get there, that they can, it doesn't necessarily change the history, but it allows Layla to see historic, what other options could be. So like that could be a way to, how do I want to explain this? Like, I feel like I'm doing a poor job of getting my thoughts out right now. Love those puckle guns. I don't know why.
Loose and trim too.
We're going to actually take that ship so we can
Gallants, royal studs.
Topsails, gallants, loose and trim.
repair the Morrigan.
Short and safe. Get off the squad.
So with the Imperial Truth or Empirical Truth, I'm not even beginning to guess on what it's actually called. But it's one of those two. I know that for a fact. It basically brings up the idea that Layla's Animus allows you to see possible outcomes if things were different. Add this to the statements of finding both two different send to Cormac's fleet. There is fleet. We're going to start doing that next time. They've stated that there is going to be two separate strands of DNA or something. Somehow they're going to find the spear of Leonidas and find, I don't remember if they said it was one DNA or two. I'm under the assumption it's going to be two strands of DNA, one belonging to Alexios and the other belonging to Cassandra. Take that and add to the fact that the novelization that is due out the same day that the game is due out, and the synopsis states that it's based on the game, using some of the game's options as the guide for the story, and that it's Cassandra's story. It is written by a new guy this time. It's actually not written by Alec Bowden. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But if you take the idea of that into the way I'm leaning into it, is that the book is going to actually be what happened canonically, which would, if you put the fact that her DNA would be on the spear with Alexios, that is leading me to actually believe that he is going to be the main villain, which I think would be pretty cool, and kind of what I've been speculating since they first announced that it was going to have two slices of DNA on it, is that whoever you choose is going to be you, your character, and the other one is going to be bad guy. So that's kind of how I expect that to go through. And if that's the case, I'm fine with it, as long as they find a way to reasonably explain it in lore. And with that being said, they kind of have opened in themselves, especially with what we've seen so far and what they've said, to the sentence of this game is going to not be an Assassin's Creed game, it's going to be a Spartan game. Which, to that argument, my statement has always been that Black Flag at the beginning, before we got our hands on it, was always stated to be quote-unquote a pirate game and not an Assassin's Creed game, and that's considered almost the best, it's arguably the best game in the franchise. So,
Shay, it has been so long. Were you on a special mission?
Yes, from Achilles.
How interesting. So am I.
Don't make me do this, Le Chasseur.
Do what? Assassinate me? I thought that was your specialty.
We could both just leave.
Ah, but then I would tell your brothers that you are alive. You have to kill me, Shay.
Oh, Gabby, good thing you get best of me.
You are always good at your business, Shay.
As were you. Tell me, what are you doing inland?
Special weapons. Poisonous gases to use against colonial authorities. I am merely a delivery man.
Then may your final delivery be swift.
Did I? Got one more mission left. So yeah, as long as they can craft a decent story that ties into and expands the lore that we already know, I'm in. I mean, the way the Origins played,
Le Chasseur was right.
I'm expecting a good game.
I had no other choice. If the assassins find out I'm alive, they'll come after me.
Just gotta be open-minded to the changes they have to make. Because really, if the series doesn't evolve, it's gonna die. I mean,
What
there
have you
is
been eating
no...
today, then?
There is absolutely no way that a game cannot evolve and stay not necessarily just relevant, to say popular.
My thanks for your
The
trust,
only way
Captain.
it's going to happen is if you're a yearly sports franchise like Madden or FIFA.
While you were
That's
busy
it.
taking down that fort, I happened to stumble upon the treasury.
You don't say.
It was the damnedest thing. Well, in any
Can
case,
I
amongst other things,
take my
I found
boat?
maps and charts detailing various French
We're gonna
trade
have to be
routes.
down here.
What are you thinking, guest?
I
Thank
thought
you. Oh, this is where we learn about the fleet. Which I wish there was a app for it on my phone. I'd be playing that all the time to get coin and stuff. Wait, I can skip this? Cool. Maybe I'll play it more then. $10, all of them. She did a schooner. Oh, it's not 10 minutes, it's 10 seconds. Oh, my bad. Aveline figurehead. I like the idea of skipping to the end of the battle. That's amazing. This one will take a little over 8 minutes, so that's fine. So we can send the ship and then I don't think we can do anything else, right? Oh, I can do another one of these. This is cool. Not the button I wanted to do, but whatevs. That'll take 20 minutes. Alright, so out of the naval campaign. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts and feelings right now based on what we've seen of Assassin's Creed Odyssey at Gamescom and what we've heard recently. The gameplay, it doesn't look exactly like
The Colonel thanks and congratulates you, Shay. He
Origins.
has returned to New York. But you look troubled.
Do you ever wonder if you're doing the right thing, Gist? If you chose the right path?
I used to, my young friend, but not anymore. Not since I met the Colonel. What's the question? The French are entrenched in our territory. It's about time we root them out.
Of course. You're right, Gist. Let's head back to New York.
Aye, Captain.
So even though that it looks like Origins, but it doesn't look exactly like Origins, I'm okay with that because you can't stay and give us exactly the same thing from game to game. It's like this one to Assassin's Creed 4. It's not the same thing, but it's close. And same thing with Unity to Syndicate. It's not the exact same thing, but it's close. So, am I going to New York or where am I headed? I thought I was headed to Albany. Apparently I'm wrong. I need to go to New York. At least I can fast travel. It's funny, they call it Templar headquarters already, but I'm not a Templar. Not right now. Not an assassin either. Alright, is that the fleet? So we can get the fleet anywhere. We can get coin almost anywhere too. Call it coin. The British pound. So yeah, here we go. Finish this up and then head on to, well,
Keep your brown bess on your
I guess we're headed to the final mission now. The only way we're not going to be, won't be the final mission is if there is a fragmented memory or a modern day memory after. I don't have enough metal. See, that's the hard part. The urban renewal will take batteries because I don't trust you. There you are. Hello. Oh yeah, it looks like the thing's done. That'll go well. With those guys back there. Alright, so we should be fine until it starts. He starts having issues with the stalkers, which are always a pain in the butt. There we go. Underneath, I wonder where the person. It looks like it's funny to me, but the I guess you really can't say it's the main mission. One of the interesting things to me is with the changes of the. Oh, you gotta be kidding me! The location of something like. Dang, I'm drawing a blank. Of origin, so Ptolemaic Egypt. Really, all it did was give you a big open world and not very high things to climb on. At least not compared to something like this one. Oh, whoa, whoa, no, whatever.
Ah, Master Cormac. What you have learned from Le Chasseur was confirmed. The local lawbreakers are changing tactics.
What's their plan now?
Their boss has hired Benjamin Franklin to produce new weapons for them. He's very well guarded.
Benjamin Franklin? The scientist?
You have heard of him? Good. He is making equipment to spread gases among the populace.
Now you see why
Toxic
we talk
ones,
about
as it
Ben.
turns out.
The populace. I thought they would use it against the authorities. Though that would be terrible as well.
The ruffians we have arrested refer to an intimidating woman. I believe she is behind these nefarious plans.
I look into this.
Thank you.
Hope. I pray it's not you.
So, he's got to know these guys are Templars, right? Like, truly, this guy, Shay, is not that dense to realize that he's working for the... Really? You can climb those. Ezio can climb those every friggin' day. So, he's really got to be dense if he doesn't realize he's working for the Templars, right? But, if you really think about it, based on the way the assassins treated him when things went down, not surprised that he doesn't really care. Alright, now we'll go to Franklin's house. Alright, what do we got? It's a bell. Get some people off my tail. How does that guy not see me? How did he not see me?
Stop, right? You can't slip away from us, you mangy dogs!
Ooh. He got shooted it. I didn't want to whistle. They're busy, so. Ooh, cool. Blueprints. Ooh, elite puckle gun. That's good news. Kill each other for me, guys. Hopefully, berserked one kills the non-berserked one. I guess it really doesn't matter. Hit him while he's down. I didn't realize he was gonna run off. That's funny.
Shay! It is good to see you again. Your friend Hope said you were away.
I was. Sir, I've come to collect the results of your experiments.
Oh, well, it's a very good thing then. I just finished fixing the prototype. Here you go. I was preparing to leave for Philadelphia, and then Europe. I was invited to lecture in London. Oh, would you be so kind as to inform Mistress Hope?
Of course. God, Hope. What are you doing with these felons? Turning the city against itself. What have you become?
Something the matter, Master Cormac?
No. Yes, just old memories.
When I am issued new recruits burdened with regrets, I tell them the surest way to lose them is with gunpowder.
You're right, Colonel.
Gunpowder. So let's go blow stuff up.
This prototype seems very powerful. Use it with care, Master Cormac. Our intelligence says this thing can destroy certain fortifications, as well as injure several enemies at once. There is also a more subtle way to use it. Some of these grenades contain a strong sedative. Fire one into the crowd and they will fall asleep immediately. We should test this new weapon. Use it against that door. Use these grenades to destroy that door. Go ahead, Master Cormac. Shoot the door.
Oh, I actually got it at the right place.
Good work. Good work. I think you are ready to turn this new weapon against the ruffians who would have used it. There is an abandoned factory nearby hiding a dangerous
one grenade
poison.
and put 10 to sleep.
Right now, it only causes sleep. But I fear those outlaws are distilling it. A more powerful formula could sicken or perhaps even kill most of New York.
Then that's my first target.
Be careful, Master Cormac. We understand that the ingredients are
Highly unstable.
All
Thanks.
the better.
And it does say fighting cocks. Huh. I'm sure that's a real thing from New York, but I don't know anything about it.
dangerous!
Well, I guess since I'm already here, I might as well climb this tower and get this point, huh? It'd be pointless for me not to.
This is dangerous! This is dangerous!
Didn't see that happening at all. That was hilarious.
This is dangerous! This is dangerous! Hey! What are you doing here?
I got it!
I don't think I hit the right button when that happened.
Hey! What are you doing here? The whole place will blow up!
So, I somehow have to kill 3 of them at once. And put 3 more to sleep. That was weird. Very weird. Wait, how many are... Can I get over there? Cool, I can. I don't know how many is standing at that gate. But if I do it right... How many here? 2? How many are down there? Okay, so this is a 4 spots. Let me see if I can get these guys to come over here. That works. Can't do it this way. Cool. Time to run.
Must get out, or I'm as good as dead.
It works. I think this whole thing's gonna blow up. It's like a distillery stack thing.
Ah, what marvelous destruction, Captain. I saw the smoke all the way from the Morrigan.
That should discourage those miscreants. New York is safe for now.
With all due respect, Colonel, it's going to take more than a few explosions to get rid of this kind of trouble.
The boy is right, Colonel Monroe.
Shay, was it? Congratulations. You just burned a whole lot of rats out of New York. I'm Jack Weeks. This is William Johnson. I don't know about him, but I'm pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
It is, terribly dusty here. I'm sure Shay can recount his adventures to us over a pint. Hey, the first round's on, the Colonel, huh?
Something the matter, Master Cormac?
Just a little confused. I must have breathed some of that gas.
Some ale will do you good. Come, we are all friends here. You will be taken care of.
Alright, so let's see if we have other missions that aren't Shay's. Well, I guess they're all really Shay's, but there's a modern day or a broken memory. Let's find out. Alright, so that was the end of Sequence 3 for Assassin's Creed Rogue. I hope you've enjoyed the content and the conversation that we've had, and as much as I have enjoyed having it. If you like my content, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, and take a look at my links in the description below for my website and my social media. And until next time, have a great night.